What a great movie. The Irishman is a great movie. But you already knew that. You don't need me to tell you that. Some of you probably haven't even seen it yet, and you already know it's going to be a great film. The cast, the director, the screenwriter, the editor, the story. This movie has the best that Hollywood has to offer. So, I mean, I read the Charles Brandt book, I Heard You Paint Houses, earlier this year over the summer, and even though I didn't completely understand everything about the story, about all these things that Frank Sheeran claimed happened, when the book ended, I'm like, there's no way this movie can miss. And the movie it's a hell of a trip. Like, it's 3 hours and 40 minutes long, and I was a little nervous about the running time at first because I knew it was going to be long, and I was a little discouraged to find out that there was not going to be an intermission. I had a couple chances to see this movie in New York earlier this autumn, and I decided not to because I didn't want to pay money to the festivals. I wanted whatever money I paid to this movie to go to the box office. I want this film to be successful. I don't want to see it for free. I don't, Martin Scorsese is one of my favorite directors. I want his films to see the box office, and if I'm not paying a ticket to his films, then I'm not contributing that. I honestly want to contribute. So I decided not to see it at these New York festivals in New York and in the Hamptons, where I had a couple chances. So I had a chance to see it today when it opened in L.A., but it's not showing at that many festival theaters in L.A. I decided to go to the Landmark near Beverly Hills and Culver City, Century City, I think, and the box office guy was trying to talk me out of it because there were only front row seats left. This was a 9:30 p.m. show, and it was almost completely sold out. Box office guy is saying, if I were you, I wouldn't do it. I'd maybe come back another day. But like I live in Burbank, so I drove, over half an hour to get there at nighttime. I'm not going to go all the way back home and ruin the rest of my night. I came here to see Martin Scorsese's new movie. I'm that passionate about his work, so I'm like, all right, I'm already here, man. I'll do it. And he's like, okay, well, you can come out after the first half hour and get a refund if you want. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Okay, maybe it's going to be hard on my neck and my back, but I'll do this for Scorsese. And I don't regret it for a minute. My seat was in the third row from the front, and I plan on seeing it again, obviously. Like, I want to take some friends to go see it a second time. The thing is, I was hoping I could get through the whole movie without having to use the bathroom. By the way, there's going to be some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie, please don't, go and see it and then come back here and hear the rest of it. I almost made it through the whole film without having to use the bathroom, but there got to a point when I think it was a combination of my bladder just not being able to take it anymore, because I did have like a Coke when I watched the film, and which is maybe not the wisest course, but I don't know, I wanted to have a good time going to the movies. Just have the popcorn and Coke and just have a good time and watch a movie that I've been waiting to see for almost 2 years now. And eventually my bladder catches up to me, and I'm thinking, all right, when's a good scene to use the bathroom? I'll come and see the movie again eventually, and then I can see whatever it is I missed. And sure enough, my bladder starts taking its toll on me during those climactic scenes when Joe Pesci as Buffalino is telling Frank, all right, we got to do this. We did what we could for him, and now you got to do it. You got to take care of it. And I'm like, oh no, like now I need to use the bathroom, but like I know what's coming, and I need to just sit it out, wait out until it happens. And so I'm sitting in the theater waiting for Frank Sheeran to finally just do it, murder his best friend, Jimmy Hoffa. And like, De Niro gets in the car with these two guys, with the guy that played Todd on Breaking Bad, and like they start arguing about fish and stuff. I'm like, oh no, the scenes go so long. Like, Scorsese is punishing us with this suspense about when is it going to happen. Like, we all know Hoff is going to get killed, but how long is it going to take until it happens? So like, the suspense was it literally was killing me. I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom, but I'm not going to miss the most important scene in the movie. No way. And I think it goes on for like 10 minutes before it finally happened. And when it finally did happen, everyone in the audience gasps. And it's very interesting the way Scorsese does it, because Pacino sort of gets shot off camera. Like, he goes back towards the door, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, De Niro points the gun at him while Pacino's back is to him, and you don't really get a good look at Pacino's head getting shot, unless I'm misremembering it. But that's sort of like, or maybe it was a little dark. I'm gonna have to go back and see the movie. And when it finally happened, I felt both a mixture of sadness because I knew Frank. I mean, I'd read the book. I already knew how it was going to happen, but it was a combination of sadness because Frank had to kill his friend, and also relief for me personally. Like, okay, I saw the most important scene in the movie, and then I waited until De Niro left. And then right when I'm ready to run out the theater to use the bathroom real quick, it gets to the wedding scene, and In the Still of the Night starts playing again. I'm like, oh no, I remember this wedding scene. And I'm like, should I sit it out for this one too? Because I remember reading the book in the opening chapters, they talk about Bill Buffalino, I think Ray Romano's character, and he has a waterfall in his basement where he meets with people privately. But like, I had to finally dash out of theater at that point. So I don't even know if that waterfall in the basement scene's in the movie. That might have been what I missed. I'm going to have to go back and see it. But like, I thought if I linger in the aisle and keep watching this wedding scene, I'm never going to leave the theater, and I just need to use the bathroom now, and hopefully the movie's not going to end while I'm in the bathroom. So I think I was in the bathroom for like, I'm sorry I'm talking about that so much, but just took a few minutes, and then I went right back in, and I came back to the theater right when De Niro is on the phone, I think, calling Hoffa's wife or somebody, and is sort of like sadly saying, oh, don't worry, Jimmy might turn up eventually. That was a great scene. De Niro is so good in that scene, but I think I came in right when he talks about how his daughter never will speak to him again. It's interesting, I don't know if there was a big dialogue scene there, but like Anna Paquin, I don't know if she ever spoke a whole word in the movie. You always saw her looking kind of sad and stuff, so I don't know if I missed out on a big argument scene between her and De Niro. But that is interesting how Scorsese in this film seems more in love with Anna Paquin's face, really. Like, I can't remember if she ever spoke a word, but her face sort of lingers over that second half of the film, this kind of distrust of her dad and stuff. And then as the film kind of slowly went to its conclusion, I really felt the impact of it. How just it's a tragic story. This movie doesn't have like the kinetic, fast pacing of Goodfellas or Casino or Mean Streets. This gangster film is more like a dirge. Like I kind of want to compare it to Kurosawa's later epics, like Ron or Kagamusha or Dersuzawa. I think as Scorsese has gotten older, he's sort of, he no longer has the energy to make. He and Thelma Schoonmaker no longer do that fast, crazy music and Rolling Stones and all that stuff. They're not interested in that anymore. This film is more about something that really allegedly happened and how it just took a toll on these people. And I felt it. I mean, Scorsese, I think in his best films, is a very emotional director. In Raging Bull, you really feel bad for Jake LaMotta, even though you don't like him very much. And, in a way, I feel sadness for Henry Hill and Goodfellas, and I definitely feel sorry for the character that De Niro played in Casino, Sam Rothstein, yeah. And The Irishman is just one of the saddest films Scorsese has ever made. And I think it's one of his best. I put it in his top 10 somewhere. I'm not usually that confident after I see Scorsese's newer films, whether or not they're among his best. I liked Silence. I loved Wolf of Wall Street at the time I saw it, but I don't know, The Irishman is just a film where I'm looking forward to seeing this film again and again and again for the rest of my life. I don't feel that way about all Scorsese's films, even though he is one of our best directors. But The Irishman, even though it's extremely long, is a movie I looking forward to paying repeated viewings to. I just wish Netflix had put an intermission in it. This movie is not exactly being released wide across the country. It's only playing select theaters, so I do feel sorry for the people in my hometown of St. Louis who aren't getting to see it right now. But I do wish that because it is playing in some theaters, there should have been an intermission. Like, why didn't Netflix do that? I don't think that was Scorsese's idea not to put an intermission in there. Scorsese, being the big cinephile, being a big fan of these older movies, you'd think he would have, he would have liked the idea of an intermission, but because Netflix is footing the bill, maybe for some reason they thought an intermission would drive customers away. I don't know. Yeah, I just think an intermission would have been good for this film. I don't know where you would have put it, what scene would have been good to say, all right, intermission, bathroom break. But, I just wish that had been done. That way I would not have had this kind of dreading feeling of, when should I use the bathroom and whatnot. Because I almost made it through the whole movie without having to do that. But speaking of Netflix, last year I was a little annoyed with the way they kind of campaigned hard for Roma to win all those Oscars, and I felt like they tried to hijack the Oscars last year in a way that was inappropriate. This year, however, I think the Irishman is easily my favorite movie of 2019. I think this film should win Best Picture. I think Martin Scorsese should win Best Director. Pacino and De Niro should at least get nominated for their performances. De Niro hasn't been this good in a movie in a long time. I mean, this is a big comeback for De Niro. And Pacino. It's so great to see them compelling in a movie again. 45 years after The Godfather Part 2. I mean, they're even better in this film than they were in Heat together, and also give an Oscar to Steven Zaillian for Best Adapted Screenplay, one of the best writers working today. This is up there with one of his best films, Schindler's List and Awakenings and Searching for Bobby Fischer. And I know Zaillian. I think Zaillian first met Scorsese when Schindler's List was being developed. You can learn more about that in my oral history video about Schindler's List. And I know Zaillian was one of the writers on Gangs of New York. I like Gangs of New York, but I think The Irishman is a superior film in every way. I think because Zaillian was the only writer on The Irishman, and he and Scorsese obviously had a firmer grasp on the story and what needed to be said in this film. The Irishman is just, even though it's a very, very long film, it feels concise. I don't understand everything about the story. There were times watching it when I'm sort of thinking, wait, why is this person getting killed and stuff? But that's okay. I mean, I feel that way when I watch Goodfellas and Casino, and even in those movies, which are also great, I'm also like, wait, who is this person? Why are they getting killed? It's not always important who's getting killed or why he's getting killed. The point is that the bodies are dropping around and the protagonist is getting more and more paranoid because he knows eventually he might be next and stuff. And I think The Irishman is ultimately a film about getting older and getting lonelier and eventually outliving your own time, which is a very sad and profound thought. But I would not for a minute call this a depressing film. This is a tragic, sad film, but when it ended, I felt exhilarated. I mean, I'm sitting there in the audience when it cuts to black with that unforgettable final shot of De Niro and the wide shot of him in the wheelchair in the nursing home alone, and then it cuts to black and we hear In the Still of the Night again, and you can hear the audience rushing around, some people waiting to leave, even though we don't know for sure if the movie's over because we're just looking at a black screen. But then the moment directed by Martin Scorsese appeared on the screen, I immediately went, woo, and I started applauding, and I hear some people applauding with me, which was a good feeling. I mean, it feels good it's one of my favorite feelings in the world whenever I go to the movies, is to be able to applaud the work of a director I really respect and the work of a writer I respect, because right after Scorsese's credit, I think Steve Zaillian's credit came next, and then I cheered for his name as well, because together you put Scorsese and Zaillian together and they work movie magic. I'm not really sure what else there is to say about The Irishman. It's just, if it's not playing in your city, I really hope that eventually it comes to a theater near you, because this is a film that really should be playing in theaters everywhere. It is that good. It should not be streaming. Even props to Netflix for giving Scorsese a blank check to make the movie he needed to. Thank you, Netflix, for doing that. But I really wish they would just release this movie wide. This is not a movie that should be streamed at home I mean, you should just go to a theater. The Irishman is a film that needs to be seen in a theater. It's an epic film. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's not playing anywhere near you. I hope you get that chance eventually. And if it is playing near you and you already have a chance to see it, then what are you waiting for?